Hello, my name is Hurin Fan, and I'm joined today by the girl whose sense of humor was buried 6 feet under by John Scalzi, Befuddled Panda.
Wow. Get out of here.
The man whose jokes are doomed to fail, which is fitting for a determinist, Ashman.
That's fair. That's good. That's a good one. Yeah.
And Janath, who I'm just happy is here, and I don't want to mockra him too hard.
Oh my god.
Also, it helps that he has a sense of humor. Thank you for joining us. Our last 2 episodes were so successful, we decided to take out 2 stories in a row.
Uh-huh.
Wurms of Blearmouth and The Healthy Dead by Stephen Erickson. If my co-hosts don't like these stories, there's no helping them. I do have a good announcement. Our next episode we will be joined by AP Canavan or A Critical Dragon on YouTube. So enjoy that and read Crackpot Trail with us because it's fantastic.
And the next Bauchelain Korbal Broach novella was announced, right?
Oh yeah, that's big
A new
news.
one.
What was the title?
Something.
Probably something dark. I'm scrolling. I don't see it.
There's a lot of scrolling you'll have to do.
Here it is. Nope. I was like, no lives forsaken. That's not right. Here it is. Time's Cursed Cartwheel.
There we go. Maybe it'll have Cartographer.
That would be fun.
Ooh.
I love Cartographer.
I actually don't know. I don't know like when in the timeline much of this is taking place. So
I was thinking the same thing. If it had it'd have to be like post crippled god getting, that thing that happens. The thing. We were all there.
Yeah. I don't know about the one after the first and second collected tales, but I'm pretty sure that these 6 are pre-Memories of Ice.
okay.
Oh really? I figured
Well,
something.
Mancy is already in their employ in Memories of Ice.
Yeah.
And they're pretty contiguous in their like geographical journey.
That's
through
true.
These 6 books. So
Well, the Healthy Dead kind of seems like a very much side story compared to the other 3, which are very obviously linked. Maybe that one takes place later. Although Crackpot Trail has some of the same characters in it.
Okay.
Spoilers. Shall we get into Worms? Wurms of Blearmouth? Blearmouth?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Wurms of Blearmouth.
What's 1 second? Panda actually had a prediction.
Oh,
that
right.
She was going to share.
Okay.
Yeah.
I predict that Ash likes at least one of these 2. And I think the one that he likes the most is The Healthy Dead.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Excellent.
We'll see if she crashes and burns. I've given up anticipating him liking anything. I think he's just kind of dead inside.
After 2 novellas, one of which we both agreed wasn't very good.
We both agreed. Lee's The Last Land was fantastic.
But you didn't like Blood Follows very much, right?
No, I didn't dislike it. I just thought it was like my least favorite thing Erickson had ever written.
Yeah.
Janath, it was probably good that you weren't here because you would probably want to pull your hair out.
It was very cathartic to
Have you
just
ever been to like
an hour?
A really funny stand-up comedian, and like you got a friend there who's just like, "What? This fucking sucks. Like this guy's not funny." Oh, I saw that joke coming. That's basically what that episode was. Where, yeah, Lee's, you've read Lee's, you know it's funny, and Ash is just like,
it was funnier the second time through than it was the first time. But I mean, the first time I read it, I was like, oh, this was funnier than Blood Follows, which is like the lowest bar.
yeah, not a high bar in my opinion.
The first, even the first time through Worms, I was still just kind of like, well, I like that I'm reading Malazan, but like it was like barely a laugh. And then like Healthy Dead was funny, and then like Crackpot Trail, I like could not stop laughing like to save my life. So I don't know.
Crackpot's hard to read that
I
way.
just got like Stockholm syndrome from Bauchelain, Korbal, Broach, and Stephen Erickson basically. And so by the time we get to the 5th one,
You've like rewritten your memories of the past ones, or what?
I don't know. No, I do think they actually get funnier. Though this time around, I liked Wurms I thought Worms was funnier at least than Healthy Dead. I don't know if I liked it more, but
Oh,
because
interesting.
Healthy Dead says interesting things, which I don't think Wurms of Blearmouth does.
Yeah,
It's just
I would
yeah,
agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Worms of Blearmouth is more obviously. I mean, they're both comedic, but I think it's a lot less making a point. Like, oh, taxes and
Healthy Dead
tyranny.
is satirical.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not a parody. It's just it is also. No, it's just a satirical. The other one's not a parody.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the idea of like having a story that takes place on a wrecker's coast is pretty funny and interesting. But like other than that, and like the taxpayer stuff or the tax collector stuff was like barely anything interesting. Like I don't know.
Oh, that was the part that I enjoyed more.
I love Spill Guy. I thought he was hilarious.
I did not like him, but I appreciated the role in the story that he was playing.
Yes.
So
Let's get
shall
into
we?
Worms. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into Worms. So after the crash of the Sun Crawl in the infinitely hilarious Leaves of Laughter
Infinitely
event,
hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
I gotta play it up because you're such a fuddy duddy. They fall into a coast of a bunch of wreckers, and what's the other word they use? Combers and wreckers. They find the city being ruled by self-proclaimed tyrant Fangatooth Claw, and Bauchelain decides he wants to take him down, and we got a showdown of sorcerers. At the same time, a lady with what's
Mouth
the
for
Latin
tit.
word for what's the Latin word for nipple?
Why would you expect any of us to know
I
the
should
answer?
know this. I should know this.
If you're going to bring it up, absolutely you should have looked it up.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up right now. This is something that we all need to know.
Okay. Is it
You
now?
can't truly. It's the cipher to the whole Bauchelain and Korbal Broach
Yes.
series.
Papilla dentata. A woman with papilla dentata runs. It's got a daughter who has vagina dentata. Very important.
Does she?
There's
Yeah.
Oh, I
and
missed that this time.
the 100-year-old witch who was stuck in the body of a red cat, Divers
Lizard cat.
lizard
A
cat. Thank you.
Yeah. The cat's name was Red.
Yes, thank
Correct.
you. Is also there, and the chanters are chasing Bauchelain and Korbal Broach, and the Sun Curl people are also chasing them, but they tried to run away, but they couldn't. Am I missing anything?
You know, actually, it makes sense to me that you would like this book a lot, Hurin, because it just features a lot of scenes of cats getting abused.
I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yes. Hurin is
Also,
a
why
cat
I like
hater.
Spilgut.
I mean, do you like Spilgut because he abuses cats, or do you think he's like an admirable person?
Oh,
And then you also learned that he abuses cats.
it's neither one of those. I actually think that abusing animals is wrong, unless it's
Oh,
in
good.
it's got to be the right context, like a parody a book or a satire, and the cat's evil, like objectively evil, so that helps.
Well,
But
the
yeah,
cat's not
I
really a
also don't
cat,
think he's a very
so.
good person, although he used to be a good person, I think.
Did he?
Yeah, he said he was talking about before he was sent to the middle of nowhere, this wrecker's coast. He actually had a really soft spot in his heart, and he always give people like a benefit of doubt. And he was like, "Well, maybe you could pay me later." But then he just got more hard and more hard and more hard, and he just turned into an a-hole who's willing to sell Faluval for money later on.
Although he says that she'd probably enjoy it.
Yeah,
Maybe
she
would?
did.
I don't
She
know.
really wanted to sleep with people, and she was actually there was a lot more to her from the first perspective, which is actually kind of true for most of the characters except for Fangatooth.
I think Fangatooth has hidden depths.
So the first time we spoke with Steve, maybe was it the first time or the second time? I think, or maybe it's never. I'm just mixing up past memories of other interviews he's done. He's talked about the movie The Raven. I think he talked it with us. Do you remember that?
No.
I'm drawing a blank.
Nobody remembers anything. The Raven, it's like an old 1960s movie with who's in it? Like Vincent Price, Peter Lorre. It got a great cast. He loves the movie. I watched it. I thought it was fine, but just like Steve, it's not that good. I mean, it's okay. But there is a sorcerer's battle in the movie that he talks about a lot. He's like, I thought it was great. I'm like, okay, Steve,
Well,
that's
he's
right.
also older, so when he
Wow.
watched it, it was probably like
Like the new hotness?
yeah, high tech.
This movie
Sorry.
was like I think the 1960s.
I mean, Steve,
I was not alive.
I mean, I
like
wasn't
70s,
either, but I think he's too old for that, or he's too young for that. But
maybe.
my point is, there's a sorcerer's battle in the movie that he talks about a lot. He's brought it up in multiple interviews, including I think ours. And I
I'm kind
think
of
that the
remembering this now.
sorcerer's battle in this book was directly inspired by that movie. But
Okay.
since none of you have seen it, God, it doesn't really mean anything.
To me, it felt almost like the Battle of Wits in Princess Bride. You know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was inspired by the Ravens too.
Maybe.
But like in the movie The Raven, it's just like two sorcerers sitting in a chair. It's apparently based on Edgar Allan Poe's story The Raven, but like it has nothing to do with that story whatsoever, except that there's a raven in it, and he says nevermore. Like that, I think
Okay.
that's it. I
I
really think
mean
that's it.
that's all anyone ever gets from the Edgar Allan Poe poem. It's just there's a raven. He says nevermore a lot, right? I don't think there's more to that poem.
Well, they turn it into a feature length movie, and at one point there's just two guys staring at each other, like they turn the camera and like a guy's got like a snake on him, and like, oh, I made you turn into a snake or something like that. It's really cheesy, but it's funny. It's also funny.
Yeah,
I'll take your
I
word for it.
I'm gonna accept that the movie, as you said, is fine.
It's
Don't
fine.
need to investigate
I
further.
I'm sorry, Steve. Like I can't recommend it. It's fine. I didn't waste my time watching it, but neither am I so satisfied that I went out of my way to watch a movie based on your recommendation.
And this coming from the man who said that The Leaves of Laughter's End was infinitely hilarious. So the bar is truly low.
Thank you so much. So, do you want to talk about the Sorcerer's Battle? Because I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I did not expect a demon to come out of Fangtooth Claw based on a demon summoning spell on a cookie. You don't see
Yeah.
that. And also, Bauchelain is apparently a baker, which is a fun image.
Yes.
I did find it funny how he's just like, oh, it's just like my childhood. You know, he's just reminiscing as
I haunted a
he's
place
getting
like this in my youth.
yeah.
Oh,
then
Well,
he
this
you know,
is
Getting poisoned.
Oh
he was
god.
playing pretend, in his childhood playing pretend. It was probably like a little, I don't know, a ruin somewhere, and he was just playing pretend and had an easy bake oven in there, baking cookies.
I
I
just like
mean,
how genuinely nostalgic this terrible place made it.
so that put me in mind of, and just to get this out of the way early, uh, some of Carcanus with little envy and spite.
Yeah, I can see it.
Um, I actually did get a few chuckles out of this book, which I was pleasantly surprised with, and like none of it felt like I was like gouging my eyes out, which is awesome.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
High praise from Ashman.
thank you.
So yeah, I liked the Sorcerer's Battle for sure, but also like on the nostalgia thing, I also really like how like he thought he was gonna be meeting somebody who was like him when he was a young tyrant, and then he was so disappointed with how shallow and like completely like immune to any knowledge of subtlety this guy
Right.
was, and like that's really why he killed him. I don't think it's like because the guy was trying to kill him. I think he killed him because he wasn't subtle. Like he
Like
didn't
Right.
like that.
more than
It's like
anything.
contempt and disappointment. Yeah.
Not only
It,
not
Um
subtle, he was not very good at his job in being an evil overlord and wearing black all the time and torturing his brothers and finally trying to poison them and kill them, which he failed miserably at.
to me, like the Fangtooth persona felt like a self-aware, like it's like Steve saved all of like the first drafts of what he would insert into his antagonists' mouths, like when he first started writing or when he first started running D&D sessions, and then just like inserted them wholesale, and it's just like first drafts, man.
No, like
Make up something better later.
you're right, like because it's very metafictional in that way, right? And that it's setting up this. I know the last two are also parodies, but it's just like the evil overlord. How dark can we make him? How obvious can we make it? And I don't know, it worked for me. I thought it was quite funny.
Yeah, I
I
actually agree.
I think it's because of the name Fingertooth Claw, but I could not stop picturing a bunch of these characters as like mice and rats because it just
Like Redwall characters, yeah.
yes, like
Yeah.
the villain in Redwall, Scourge,
Oh, that's
I think
good.
is his name.
The Scourge, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just so exaggerated, that villainous nature.
Mhm.
Oh, I also love the dynamic that Fangtooth had with Coingood.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah, I got that all down, sir.
Yep, my wax tablet is melting, but yep, I got it.
I
write
did
that down. Pretend like I said it.
reverse all of the things that he said. Put them in my mouth, please.
Yeah.
Make him look stupid later. Yeah. Yeah,
The
yeah.
coin
Consider it done.
the coin guide stuff felt like a more on the nose and like wacky and goofy version of stuff that you read in Esselmont's
Oh, is it?
Yeah, there's
novels.
Okay.
there's a character like that almost explicitly in Blood and Bone.
Yeah.
Like they're going through the jungle and like it's supposed to be like a travel guide or like
Okay.
something for other people to
Travelogue,
read.
yeah.
And like they're failing miserably, and like he just keeps telling them to like change things in the log. It's pretty good.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's also got a bit of Pinky and the Brain vibes.
Yeah, I like it.
I think this is probably the first novella where we get Bauchelain's like philosophy on power and tyranny and like why he wants to be a tyrant and like what he expects of tyrants and things like that. And you sort of get the idea that Bauchelain's like mirror universe Steve in a way, especially at the end when you get when he releases the brother
Mhm.
and the brother is like given the choice of releasing the other prisoner who he's been with the whole
Yeah.
time, but he doesn't because the guy cheated or whatever.
Right.
And so Bauchelain says something about how like the limits of human compassion are um like
It
just
doesn't
within
extend
your own
beyond like the
skin.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I always picture Mads Mikkelsen as Bauchelain, like
He would
Mads
be so good
Mikkelsen
as
as
Buckland, yeah.
Hannibal. But
Yeah.
but in that moment, it's just like Steve with like the Star Trek like goatee, like evil universe.
Like the mascara on the eyes or the eyeliner, sorry.
Not sexy enough. The mirror universe people have to be like really sexy.
Okay.
It's true. You ever watch Star
Yeah.
Trek? You watch mirror episodes, which I usually hate, actually, for the record.
You,
But they're
you,
like
you
they're really sexy.
you don't
The
think
ones
Steve with eyeliner would be really sexy? I think he would. I
No,
think he'd
I'm
pull it off.
saying like Bauchelain's not sexy to be like mirror universe Steve.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
He's kind of
What if
uninterested
it's
in
the
all
other
that.
way
Stuff.
around?
oh, we're in the mirror universe and
This
Steve's
is fun.
evil in the other universe.
I like it.
Yeah.
So back to Coin Love. I enjoyed the
Coin good.
conversation between thank you, Coin Good and Mancy and their roles, like as the
Mhm.
underlings of somebody evil, and whether or
Mhm.
not like that makes them evil. I don't know. I think that's again Steve telling us that maybe we should be wondering like if Mancy is doing the right thing, which he's not.
I mean,
He's just
obviously he's not doing the right thing.
He's just trying to make a living, getting
I'm just
by,
saying Coin Good and Mancy are very similar
Yes.
in that
Yes.
respect.
They just exist as instruments of the system, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did find it really funny how Bauchelain has just been poisoning Mancy's food for months now.
Mhm.
It's for his own good. He's
Yeah.
a beneficent tyrant.
was it his food or his drugs?
I think it's
Is it
drugs, probably. Maybe
drugs?
both. Definitely is
Probably
drugs.
everything.
Yeah.
Exposure therapy.
I mean, at the start of the series, Mancy wasn't doing as many drugs, right?
No, he's just been doing more and more as it goes on.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably a compelling reason to think that Healthy Dead is set at least a month after this story because he's doing like a lot of drugs in that.
Yeah. Well, and also just the nature of the crash. Like, okay, this immediately picks up after the crash.
But I don't know if that's because he wasn't into Durhang and stuff before, I think he was unemployed and he was getting drunk for free by the guys who were like cooking him. So like once he was employed, he could afford drugs.
His own stuff.
I think it was just turned to drugs because of the nature of his job, though.
That's right.
Probably.
I thought that's what Ash was getting at. That's kind of what I was saying. Well, how do you know what Mancy the Luckless was like when he had money before he was? I mean, he was inebriated the entire time he was unemployed from our perspective. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
you know,
he's definitely getting paid better than he ever has, right? So maybe that's
But he's
maybe he
also
was
getting
doing some enough drugs that he just
traumatized
did more.
more than
Yeah,
he
that's
ever
true.
has.
But he's getting paid.
Yes.
His kids get to go to school.
Yeah.
His kids.
Yeah,
Quote
kids.
unquote.
Dad, in quotes.
I liked the Bauchelain Korbal Broach part of this story. I did not find the other parts to be very interesting. I thought they were super forgettable for the most part. I liked the old guy that was like a badass. Like this, I don't know. Is
The
he like an
Beachcomber
elder god
guy?
or something? Like
the Elder
maybe
God, yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. I liked
Yeah,
Ackle, and I always said I like Spilgit. I think the Papilla dentata idea is interesting. The lady, not so much. Faluval's fine. I like the guy playing 20 questions.
Oh yeah, the being tortured.
And then I enjoyed the chanters and the other people of the Suncroll coming back and trying to get revenge.
Did you like Tiny?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like every Toblikai in the story.
I used the
definitely like Cust Hub. Sorry, go ahead.
I used the chanters in my D&D game.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not D&D, it's Savage Worlds, but you know.
Tabletop.
Role playing game. Yeah.
same kind of thing.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. They'd be a pretty natural fit, I think.
Definitely like putting myself in the mindset where it's like, okay, pretend that you and your friends are getting together and the story is something that you're role playing. And that like ridiculous casual mindset, trying to make each other laugh, helped me enjoy the story more.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I would have wanted to just throw it across the room.
Yeah. This I'm sure this would be very funny to play through.
Mhm.
Right? Yeah.
I'm sure it would be very funny to read too.
I'm kind of getting nothing out of Korbal Broach's involvement in these stories so far, I think.
Yeah.
He's kind of done nothing.
He's kind of just coming in at like very precise moments, does his thing, has his impact, and then is just a shadow like behind the
Yeah.
scenes.
I mean, he did basically nothing in this story, right? And basically nothing in Healthy
Oops.
Dead.
Oops.
Yeah. Oh
You
no,
killed the
I
golems.
killed all the
Yeah.
golems. Clumsy me. I don't even understand that joke. We're like, where's the humor intended to like? What is he trying to do? Is he like giving them a hug? How would that be accidental? Ripping a head off?
Maybe it's not an accident and he's just pretending
He's
it
just
is.
Yeah, right. That's it.
What's the humor? See, it's supposed to be like oh, it was like a mischievous like baby commercial. It's like the baby has like its finger to his lips and it's like, oh, I did an oopsie.
Like the Gerber baby.
Yeah.
No, he's been
Oh, man.
compared to like a 5-year-old, right?
Yeah.
He is just a guy who has almost no impulse control, and so he's gonna, if he wants to try something, he's gonna try it.
Maybe he was trying to like inspect the golems, but then, he rolled a really powerful whatever and in fact just broke it. That's what happened.
I think that's what he wanted you to think the first time, and then he just kept doing it, right? Like that was the whole joke, was
Yeah.
that
Oh
like
man.
So yes, like not intending to kill something incredibly hard to kill and doing it on accident is funny. So
You got enjoyment okay. Well, there's something for everyone, I guess.
I don't get how that's not funny.
I think it also is like he's actually rolling an intimidate check with that because he's doing
Mm.
something really difficult. He's killing something very difficult to kill, saying it's an accident, and then being like, "What am I to do now, guards?" And the guards are like, "Well, we can't arrest this guy."
You gotta go to the keep, I guess. We're really not
Right.
cut out for this. Yeah.
If we had like the actual time for it, I would want the four of us to play through this story as if it were a role-playing game.
Next time we get Steve for an interview, we just like surprise him. Just like, this isn't an interview. You're gonna run this module for us, Steve.
I'm here for that. Yes.
So much of the humor in my RPGs that I've run recently, which is not many, but it's just me stealing from
Just lifted wholesale from
Bauchelain.
Alaz and
Yeah.
deposited.
Specifically from these short stories. They're way funnier at the table than they are reading them, too.
Yeah.
Because like
Okay.
no one expects them, and yeah.
I have to say, like, okay, when I first started reading the Gardens of the Moon, all the way until now. Actually, I should even say when I first started reading Blood Follows, and then reading these, in the time in between, I have been exposed more to things like D&D, and
Mhm.
so have more of an understanding of why it is fun.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And like seeing people who are really good at it, like, you know, like this is what top tier D&D could be.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I get it. And then translating that kind of experience to these stories helps a lot. Which, by the way, if you get the chance to watch the D&D, was it the 20-sided tavern show, which is currently off Broadway, but is going on tour next year.
Hmm.
I do highly recommend it. It's really fun.
Okay, it'll probably come to Canada in about 5 years then. I'll check it out
It's
then.
going to Australia next year. Sun
I'll
Gamer is
expect to.
super
Never
excited
seen it.
for it. So
There is a video on YouTube of Steve playing a D&D campaign with two other authors, and
oh,
it's actually really enjoyable. I don't want to
wait,
ruin
can
it
you
because
send the link?
sure, yeah.
Yeah, we'll
You
put it
can
in the
post the
show
link in the
notes.
show notes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Something in those.
It's pretty enjoyable, and Steve he does his thing.
Hmm.
Do we share anything else? There's a couple lines that I really like. I want to share.
But
You can
Wurms of
share.
Blearmouth. Yeah, go ahead.
What got my biggest chuckles were when Guthub came to Hordillo. Let me find it. Gotta write it down somewhere. Yeah. The bandage one limped over. You took them up there. The keep, and they was made Gwithith. Hordillo glared at the other two. You elected this one your spokesman?
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
And then this one it took I had to read it a couple times, but I am Lord Fangtooth Claw, master of the Forgotten Holding, high sorcerer of the lost gods of Ilfur, seneschal of grey arts, high mage of Elder, Thalakin, and last surviving member of the League of Eternal Allies.
That's the last one is good.
Yeah.
Last one is good.
I think what
oh,
it is. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, um, all the parts with the characters from the whatever Lee's at Laughter's End or whatever that one is, I did not enjoy very
Mhm.
much. But the newer characters in this, honestly, it's more when Mancy and Bauchelain are on the page. Those are
Mhm.
the parts that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, Manti and Bauchelain play off each other so well. And it feels like this is one reason why I'm kind of a bit irritated with Korbal Broach being in the story because like I feel like there could be a third dynamic there that is like really fun and really interesting, but instead there's just nothing. There's just a giant baby that sometimes comes in and says I'm a baby and then leaves.
And then does like powerful necromancy things at the end.
Yeah, I guess.
In Healthy Dead, he does. He resurrects like the
Yeah.
entire dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like
Whole
again,
city.
like he's like a nothing in that story. I think in The Healthy Dead he's more nothing than he is in any other story so far.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes.
The impact, his impact is there, but he's not.
He just
Right.
doesn't
like
do anything.
he's like a crow for like half of the time you see him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's not the vocal crow of the two crows.
Do we want to move on to healthy? Did we have anything else to say about Wurms of Blearmouth?
Well, on the note of Panda doesn't like any of the stuff with the characters from Leaves of Laughter's End, I was about to bring up one of my favorite little bits, which is with the characters from Leaves of Laughter's End.
Go ahead.
The two-sided guard.
Oh,
Okay,
That was
fine.
hilarious.
that was great.
That
That was
was
really funny.
pretty funny. I
The
will admit.
two-sided guard was funny. And it was just like the characters noticing that the two-sided guard was like two sides. So I guess he's just a good guard.
I thought that was great.
And
Yeah.
how
And
they
then
try
they're
to
like-
get past it.
Also, Gust Hub is just funny.
No.
Yes, I
Yeah.
just
Gust Hub
read
was
a
funnier
part
in
where
Leaves
Gust
of
Hub was
Laughter's
funny.
End.
Yeah,
Just
like because he was
give
in
a
a lot of
character
more.
a lisp and then
Because-
they're funny.
No, give a character a lisp, point out the lisp, and then make him the spokesman of a group of people, and then it's funny.
Mm.
Yeah, I thought that part was funny. I also think that the two-sided guard is another example of how like Korbal Broach, his only real role in the story is to provide a reason why goofy stuff happens with the undead, and that like that's it. Like you don't actually see him doing anything. You just see like the after effects, and he's just a nothing. So I think that scene kind of illustrates Ash's point there.
Yeah, and like just imagine if you had an actual character doing that.
Right.
Okay, are we done with Worms? I'm done with Worms. It was fine. It was, it was genuinely fine. I did not mind reading it.
It was better than the previous one.
Hard to disagree.
Wow.
Think that Lee's was better?
Oh, absolutely. Lisa's much
I-
funnier.
Oh.
Lisa's the funniest of the bunch, actually.
No.
Yes,
No,
Ew.
you have to be
easily,
putting me on.
absolutely.
Are you just taking that stance to take that
No,
stance?
I'm taking that stance because it's actually funnier.
Oh my
It's
god.
got way
goodness.
more jokes per page, and it's just like
It's got
funny
more
from
attempted
start to
humor
end.
per page. I'll agree with that.
Okay, so I read these all pretty much this time around as audiobooks while hiking on the Mountain to Sea Trail, and like I like Lee's the least of the three. I mean, Blood Follows is obviously the worst, but I do think, to Hurin's point, while I want to just say he's completely wrong because I like this one better, and I like Healthy Dead I think better than all of them, I think I laughed more out loud at Lee's. But I still don't like it as much as the other two. So,
I think Healthy Dead's better. I just think Lee's
Yeah.
is much funnier.
Wild.
Ugh.
Yeah,
All right.
it was silent while I was reading Lee's.
yeah,
It was more
Silence
groans
was
for
Blood
me.
Follow.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
not
Blood
way.
Falls is for me. It's
I
hard
think some
finding
of my
humor in Blood
laughs
Falls.
were instead of groans, though. So it's like, like where you would groan, I am laughing instead of groaning. Kind of like how I laugh when I watch like really grotesque horror scenes in movies,
Sure.
because
Mhm.
like my brain's just like, I don't want to process the negative emotions here, so I'm just gonna laugh instead. So I think some of those laughs from Lee's were groans.
Okay. I see.
So, who was the guy that was like, I don't have an ex-wife, but if I did, I don't want to be,
The
my
dead
ex-wife's the
guy,
worst.
right?
No, it wasn't the dead
Apple?
guy. It was not Ackle.
It was the
No?
guy who kept threatening the dead guy.
Yeah. I thought
The
he was
guy-
kind
a
of funny.
guard or a cop.
thought he was
yeah,
kinda
he
funny.
was like a cop.
Now
I
that
see.
I'm married, I can now appreciate married humor, and I find it
Oh, is it
funny on occasion.
Hordillo? It's
Maybe.
Hordillo, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was probably
there you
Hodelia,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then he like does this to every woman he meets, but somehow they all end up sleeping with them.
Wait, I still want to talk about Spilgit. Because Spilgit's whole conversation about taking two shovels
Mhm.
and the guy arguing with the guy who's like, well, how am I going to get a job? And him talking about the importance of taxes and actually kind of believing it. That whole thing
Yeah.
was interesting and
Mhm.
funny because, it's relative to, the guy he's taking shovels from. And at the end, he actually just had to take the shovel.
He took both.
I mean, say what you will about modern taxation. Ancient taxation was really just this bad. Or worse. It's just the tax collectors coming around and saying, well, how much can I take from you? You got 2 shovels, you don't need both, right?
Don't forget forced work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Hell Dead. Let's see. What's this one? Bauchelain, Korbal, Broach, and Mancy come to the city called Quaint, which is run by a health tyrant.
Oh,
I
by
think
the way, quaint. That's the dad joke, the most dad joke of the
How
entire
quaint.
Malazan series, I think.
run by a health guru tyrant fascist. And
Mhm.
everybody hates him. And somebody asks Bauchelain to take him down, and he's like, "Hey, we get to do good for once. How quaint!" And yeah, they resurrect everybody in the town. Save some babies from being really healthy. Find out that the health guru nut has actually been dead for a while on his exercise machine. Yeah,
Mm.
Which means
Yeah.
everybody's been doing all this horrible stuff with it, making the excuse that it's the king's reign, and
Mhm.
which is an
Yep.
episode of Adventure Time, which I bet was inspired by this, or vice versa.
no, there's a common story that inspired them both. I can't remember what it's from, but
It's from the Stormlight
this
Archives, is what it is.
Oh my
then
Yeah,
there,
he's
goodness.
right.
I bet there's another. I think
Like
it's
an
I think it's a
older
common
story?
fable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brandon said it traveled in time, and they took it from him.
I see.
He's just that influential. I did really find the exercise machine very funny, and I was just like, it put me to mind immediately of those like crazy exercise contraptions of like the 40s to like the 60s, where it's like
Those are
you just like you
weird.
can just like sit in them and they'll like jiggle your fat or whatever. Like if you guys have a chance, I would highly recommend looking up old timey exercise machines because
They're
they're
weird.
ridiculous. Pretty much just this. Yeah.
Well, this is like a whole body.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's really just dancing around.
It was
Yeah.
quite grotesque the way it was described,
Mhm.
but the end was quite funny. See, I enjoyed how Mancy kind of got more page time now, and he actually did good, and like he was like trying to save people through his ulterior motives, and I
He was
enjoyed
useful.
the yeah, he was not only useful, but he was like nice. He's like helping people.
I think
Mhm.
this is the first story where he's been sober, right? So that's possibly part.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
That's a good
Maybe.
point.
And then each side is trying to protect civilization, which
Yes.
I enjoyed those little conversations.
I
they had.
enjoyed that too.
The slippery slope.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We
Yeah.
must
So
protect
was I
civilization.
right, Ash?
Yeah, no, this is my favorite of the bunch. Absolutely, not close. Although I did enjoy Wurms of Blearmouth an okay amount.
Yeah.
Anyone want to say
Yeah, I
anything
mean,
about health fascists or the slippery slope of uh, having too many rules or uh, policing? What is it?
Obsession.
Morality.
mhm. The dangers of having a self-righteous member, like governor or whatever
Yeah.
system. I mean, if they're just plainly evil, it's less bad, right?
Like everyone they talked to was like, yeah, those were the good old days. What was the old king's name? Like Necro, something the Nihil.
Yeah.
Just good. And then,
Necrotist?
I don't
Necrotis the
know.
Nihil.
No,
Yeah.
That sounds
Necrotus.
right. Necrotis the Nihil. I loved his sections where we get his POV and his head falls off and
Yeah.
he's just angry at his what was his son, brother? I forgot who overthrew him.
His brother.
Brother,
Right.
yeah. And he hurts the feelings of that that Reaper that comes for
Wait,
him.
is it his son? Because there was like an inbred thing going on. Is he the brother and the son? Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what? I don't care too much, so we can move on.
I'm gonna say yes. It's probably his mother as well.
Okay.
Bauchelain revealing the new king and queen to the Agilian masses was actually a genuinely funny comedic moment. They're just going to town on each other.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
great.
okay, when you guys, I think it was Hurin who said that a lot of the jokes in this one is wordplay, or maybe Janath, you said it. I enjoyed the wordplay parts quite a bit. Like, we'll just read the part. It was like Bauchelain heard like intense grinding behind the altar, and then he moved the altar, and there are two people
Yeah,
grinding
that's
on the
good.
altar.
I liked the I think I generally just enjoy the horny women of Malazan. But
Do
the
you now?
section Yeah, yeah. The section where like she was doing her thing, and then the guy comes in, and then like it concludes with, "You want to do the mandated exercise now?" And then he's like, "That's not exercise." God, that's depressing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of good sex jokes here.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So like, yes, they are funny, but at the same time, I'm just like, there are a lot of sex jokes in these. Like this one, the previous
Uh-huh.
one. It's just,
Absolutely.
and
There's a
even
lot.
the one before. I'm just like, can we
Steve does a lot of sex jokes, especially in
he
Bauchelain and
does.
Korbal Broach.
Like, can we do something else?
They do something else.
Mm,
Don't forget Hurin humor, because
Yeah.
I know we're going back to Wurms of Blearmouth, but I actually really enjoyed the part about the statue in giving the nipples and the dentata, and he was making like, what was it? He was making artifacts by peeing on them and digging them under, putting them underneath the what's the pee spot called?
P-spot.
I
You
have
know,
no idea.
you dig a hole and people pee and poop in it.
A
It's got a word,
latrine?
latrine. Thank you,
Cesspit?
latrine.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
dug things in the latrine and then peed on it to make it look like it had been aged. He was just artificially aging it. I like
I
that part.
see. You think that's what they do on architect digs, whatever,
They
archaeological
pee on
digs,
things?
You know, I wouldn't be
you know,
surprised. Like that
and
sounds
to
like
make it
something.
look older, you know? Look
Maybe
what
that's
I
what
I
Steve was
found.
actually doing.
We'll ask Steve
Yeah.
next
No,
time.
I can believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, because like urine is more.
It's a very postmodern thing to do.
Yeah, okay.
What does that even mean? It's very postmodern of you to say.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
did enjoy trying to figure out based on the names, like which of the seven deadly sins certain characters were.
Did lust give it
That
away?
huh?
Did lust give it away?
What, the Lady of Beneficent
Wasn't there a
whatever?
character just named Lust?
So they were the people, the seven deadly sin demons. They had a name, an actual name, and then they were also named by the sin. So
One
Yes.
of them was like
Lust's
again,
name
again or
was
something.
again, again. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
Again,
again,
lust.
again.
again, again, again. Yeah.
And then like Corp or I forget
Ineb
the
Koth.
sin. Yeah,
Hmm?
that was Vice, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I forget the name of Corpulence, but
I forgot
there was
too.
Corpulence and Sloth.
Oh,
Yeah.
something
About Wrath.
slovenly.
Ah,
Mm. There was only 4 of the 7 in the story, right?
Yeah, I don't think all of them were named unless they were and I missed it.
I think it was
I
just yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I did think it was a funny little twist that the underlying thing behind the whole regime was lust. Is just like, this is just like the guy's kink, I guess. Just like that makes sense, I guess.
yeah.
Well, they did say like lust is Bauchelain was like, "Oh, lust isn't just about sex. It
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
obsession." So,
Lusty exercising, he called it.
Yeah,
obsession.
there's definitely a group of people that like they exercise like in a very obsessive, sometimes quite lustful way. Um,
Mm. CrossFit?
yeah.
Sorry, did I
Y-
just piss off people?
Yes, I mean, the shoe fits maybe.
Sorry.
Um, did anyone think that the nuns were eating the babies?
Yes. Yes, I
Were they
did.
Yeah.
though in the end?
No.
Were they?
No, they
No,
were
No.
they
not.
weren't. They were actually taking good care of them, but they were kind of brainwashing them.
Yeah.
They were doing like the Spirited Away baby thing, you know?
What?
What?
Do you guys not remember the baby from Spirited Away?
Yeah, she was kept away. Oh, okay, I see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
She was kept
Oh.
away and kept safe from all the germs of the outside and protected from
Yes,
the
yes,
outside
yes,
world, but
yes.
they weren't allowed to grow up and become, yeah.
Yes.
Once they
Um,
go out with Chihiro, they kind of like start exercising and learn about the world. And they're like, "Oh, I like Chihiro. Don't be mean to
Hmm.
her.
okay. Please don't do that again.
I like Chihiro. Don't be
No!
mean to her."
No, no, no.
Can we get
Uh,
baby Hurin appearing as like a guest?
eh,
I like their
Mario?
butt. It's funny. It's just got a little like apron and like, "Don't be mean to Chihiro."
Oh my I thought the babies were actually gonna once we found out that they're alive and well, I thought that the twist was going to be that they after they leave their, temple, they all catch germs and cold and they all
Just die.
die,
That would have
I
been funny.
thought that
Oh,
was going to be the point as well.
but it did not happen,
yeah,
so
did
disappointing.
not.
they draw the line
Maybe it'll come up
somewhere.
in a future story. We come back to Quaint and all everyone's dead because the kids didn't eat enough dirt.
You
Yeah,
know,
no
maybe
immune
I'm
system.
being soft, but I am actually glad that it didn't end up that the babies were just being eaten in this comedy story.
No, I'm happy.
agree.
I thought it
Glad
was
that wasn't played for
actually a
laughs.
really good twist.
Yes.
And they killed the nun, and they're just like, she's eating them. She's got sharp teeth. You see those sharp teeth? Those teeth aren't sharp,
She's
man.
got
She just
rotten teeth.
Baby soup.
she called them plump.
Yeah, that was
But
weird.
that is a good, like, parallel to during the Salem witch trials, people just thought, "Oh, these weird behaviors that I don't agree with, they must be witches."
Hmm. A woman living on her own. That's witchcraft. Don't like
Mhm.
that.
She showed her ankles.
Ah.
Let's see.
I liked the I don't know if those debaying spores were supposed to be like cocaine or like a hallucinogen or something, but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the paladin getting accidental drugs.
Yeah, you'd think they're called poppies. They're like heroin, but like it was more like cocaine.
Yeah, he, like
Like a
immediately he's like, I need to go run.
Did you
Gotta
see
go
that
fix the
like
city.
that page long sentence from his
Yes.
perspective? Yeah, I like that
I
a
was reading this and I was like, hey, this feels like Infinite Jest again.
lot.
Oh, goodness.
Actually,
It was
the
really done well to a good effect.
I could believe the president from Infinite Jest ruling the society. You know?
You know, I could see it too. Yeah,
Yeah.
Johnny Gentle.
Yes, that's it.
Um, let's.
What were your favorite parts, Janath?
Um, hmm. I liked a lot of Bauchelain's musing on like on power again. And I particularly liked his whole like explanation of how he needs to be a tyrant with millions toiling under him so that he doesn't have to worry about his own safety. And
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. Um he's a very charming guy despite
I
being
yeah.
a fascist.
I'd vote for Bauchelain.
Yeah.
Um,
I
I think
mean,
he'd run a severe but effective government.
I would be
true.
afraid of not voting for him.
Yeah. See, there you go. There's the flip side. He's good to his friends, bad to his enemies.
that is true. Well, the reason why they, like, even wanted to take down the tyrant Bauchelain was like, "Ooh, it's a challenge." Like,
Yeah.
he's not really doing it for good reasons, it's just the good reasons were a bonus.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part was when Necrotus is visited by like the Herald of Hood.
Oh
And he's
yeah,
like,
that was awesome.
go away, I hate you. You hate me. I hate
Yeah.
you. I'm gonna go away. I'm not gonna take you anywhere. And then like Necrotus is like kind of hurt.
Yes.
Wait, you didn't
And
want
Oh,
me?
dude, why?
well, and then it was like a terrible decision because he ends up like,
In a glass case.
Yeah,
yeah,
Jar.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll keep the jar the glass clean, won't you? Yes, of
Of
course.
course. I really like the ending where it was, in the glass case, King Necrotus smiled broadly as the dead are wont to do. That was a good ending.
yeah.
Good
He's very
ending
happy.
line.
Final one. Yeah,
Especially when you're just picturing a skull.
I like the body horror and humor associated with just like all the dead people just falling apart and like people tearing off their limbs and hitting them. It was just very funnily, humorously. I prefer funnily written.
Sure.
And it
Mm.
felt like a zombie comedy.
It did.
It did feel like a zombie comedy, and like one that basically had no impact, right?
Which
The
was
dead.
actually that was commented
Yeah,
on in the story.
it was. Yeah,
Bach
'cause I
Korbal Broach's uselessness was literally commented on in this story.
don't. And yet he wasn't written out. Sad.
Wait till the next
But
book.
then you wouldn't get the dead.
I guess there's more necromancers in this world. You know what could happen? Bauchelain could recruit Dead Smell.
Mm. No, we
Oh.
need dead smell in the other parts.
I'm pretty
What
sure
was
this is before Memories of Ice. Still. This is the only one that might not be of all the ones we've read so far.
Mm.
I liked this section when Mancy and the paladin are talking about adjudicating this other the other well knight who was formerly a prostitute. Can there be no second chance, paladin? Ah, you are a saint indeed to voice such sentiment. The answer is no, there cannot. The very notion of fallibility was invented to absolve mortals of responsibility. We can be perfect, and you can see true perfection walking here at your side. You have achieved perfection? I have. I am. And to dispute that truth is to reveal your own imperfection. And then, like, immediately, he, like, gets, like, hit, like, the door hits him in the nose, and then he falls on
Yes.
his ass. And I was just like, that's good slapstick, Steve. That's good slapstick. Would
Yeah.
that Leaves of Laughter's end was like this?
it was?
No.
Uh,
And
yeah,
then
that's
there was
pretty
this
good.
other one where like the knight was going to adjudicate somebody and then Mancy like talked them into believing that they were a saint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mancy just go around sainting everybody to save their asses.
Yeah. Well, first
And
he sainted himself, you know.
The first saint, yeah, it's important because he's so pure.
Yeah. He
and
got
then there's
other
also
people
the
to
baby
saint him.
that gets sainted.
Yes,
Mm.
yes.
The
Yes, oh,
baby is
that's the
working? What are you
baby.
talking about? Yeah, look at his
Exactly.
face.
That's the scene. Yes.
Um, and then there's everyone eating grass and then dying of constipation.
Oh my god. Poop
We used to cut
Because
jokes,
like
people
pee
open and find
jokes,
meat in their
sex
stomachs.
jokes.
yeah, the meats are so gross.
Now we find grass. Much
Uh,
more pleasing.
the pigs
Oh, the
when
pigs in the brothel. Yeah,
yeah, I was
nobody
like
expected to find pigs up here except for you.
that was pretty funny.
It was good. One of my favorite lines was I think in this story there's a lot more situational humor instead of uh like quotable lines, if that makes sense. It's
Really?
just like really just ridiculous things happening. Yeah.
I would say that the jokes are more um elaborate.
The setups are better.
Agreed.
Well, I said what I said, but I want to share this quote. Uh By the ladies never suck teats. Elias Sill. Oh, shut up. I'm a woman. I can curse about things like that.
So true.
Uh,
Writes the male author.
yeah.
Mhm.
I think Lady Ash is almost done with Memories of Ice. She enjoys the sexual humor more than I do. My prediction is that she will unironically just like Karsa at the beginning.
Oh no.
Oh,
We'll
wow.
see.
Okay.
We'll see.
We'll find out soon.
Yeah.
Anything else to share?
Healthy Dead, good book, good satire. I would like to see this filmed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It is good satire. That's why I like it the most.
So is like Crackpot Trail in this vein or more in the vein of Lee's at Laughter's End?
It's its own thing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's its way own thing.
It's
I
It's
don't
probably
know.
yeah.
the funniest thing I've ever read.
But like,
Like
is it Panda kind of humor or?
it's impossible to tell. I don't know.
The impression I've gotten is that it's not slapstick. So
It's not.
Okay.
There's probably slapstick in it, but it's
It's not slapstick at all. It's all style, characters.
Yeah,
I mean, AP shows up in it, so there's that to look forward to.
that's true.
Do
I
you know do
still
you know the premise?
no.
Okay, the premise is it's a caravan of poets on their way to the annual Artist of the Century
Oh,
competition.
okay. That sounds familiar. Okay.
And on the
and
way there, the artists have to tell stories so that they don't get cannibalized by the critics.
Oh.
okay. Well, that's a very trimmed down version. So they're traveling with paladins from Quaint, I think, the Chanters, and like some other people. And so there's like the route that they're taking. It goes to this greatest artist of the century contest, but it also goes to all these shrines of
Oh,
this god
interesting.
that the paladins are looking for. and they forgot to take enough food and water for the caravan. So the people with the magical abilities and the big swords decide that the artists have to perform for lest they be supper rather than performing for their supper.
Thing
Wow.
is, everyone could just like not eat for a few days and they'd be fine.
Yeah, at a certain point they get to the point where like they realize that like yeah, if we just like stopped eating, we'd get there, and they still keep doing it. But so there's a bunch
They're
of
used to having a full
stories.
meal.
There's a bunch of stories inside the story.
Okay.
Because the artists each are telling their own stories, so it's like 7 different stories in one, and then also the
I see.
narrator is one of the artists telling the whole thing as a story. So it's like
very
a
like
ne-
Chaucer-esque
Yeah.
in that.
So what I'm hearing is it's good value for your money. You're getting more Malazan stories per book than anything else in the series.
They even tell a really fun version of the ending of Deadhouse Gates. And you can watch Stephen Erickson and AP Canavan sing that story out on YouTube after you've read it.
Sing it?
Yeah,
Yes.
they sing it, yeah.
They sing it together on YouTube and in one of the videos.
By the one and only Brash Fluster.
Because it's a Brash Fluster is singing it as a song.
Wow.
And there's like 2 characters going back and forth. So
Okay.
Steve plays the one that is not singing, and AP plays the one that's singing. So AP sings it. Yeah.
Does AP
It's
have
not-
like a surprisingly good singing voice?
It's not bad.
No, it's I mean I think he plays it up worse than it could be on purpose because it's supposed to be bad in the context
Brash
of the
Fluster's
story.
a terrible artist.
Right.
He has
right.
such vocal mastery that he can comedically make himself sound terrible in the best ways.
Yes,
I've
yes.
never heard him try to sing well. I've heard him try to sing poorly.
We can ask him to sing well on our episode to compare, you know. Also, I can't get over Erickson's author photo in this book, in Crackpot Trail, actually, and probably his other ones too. Because Book of the Fallen is so serious, like I know he's capable of humor, but him as a person, I'm just like, oh, serious man.
Deadpan.
Yeah. But then you look at his photo in Crackpot Trail, and it's just like he is being serious. He has a serious expression, but I can't take him seriously. He's got his leather jacket on. He looks much younger. Still no hair.
Much younger. Yeah.
But it's like it's more like angst, like teenage angst kind of serious.
Teenage angst. He was like 40.
I don't know how old he was when this photo was taken.
Probably 30s. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Anyway.
All
Okay.
right. Do we have any
Also,
final
Crackpot
thoughts?
Shell is by far the longest one.
Okay. So we're just doing that one, and then the Fiends of Nightmaria after that.
Yes.
And then there's Upon a Dark of Evil Overlords, and by then the next one will probably be out, I imagine.
Yeah.
Will we be
probably
able
won't.
to get our hands on that? For those of us
Well,
that don't already have it?
Part of the Dark of Evil Overlords is actually available free because he did it longhand. He wrote
Yeah,
it
if we want to read it
longhand.
in his handwriting.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. So we're not going to read that until the collection comes out, which I don't think there's actually been a release date for it yet.
Wait, is it not published anywhere?
A small. I actually have it.
I had a chance to get it on Amazon. And it was very affordable, and I was like, "Oh, not this check!" And then it immediately was gone the next time.
Oh.
It was only published by a small place
that one.
in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I see.
So yeah, it's not available, I think, anywhere. Maybe on ebook? Maybe? I don't know.
Check your library. Request it from your library.
Yeah.
Tell them to get it.
Again, we're not going to be reading it because it's not available easily. So maybe after the other 2 come out.
Okay.
Also, I've only read it once. I don't remember it very well, which is not a good thing.
I see.
Okay.
All right. Anything
Well,
else?
Nope, none for
I'm
me.
good. Okay.
You want to take us out?
Sure. That has been our discussion on Stephen Erickson's The Wurms of Blearmouth and The Healthy Dead, 2 tales of Bauchelain and Korbal Broach and Mancy. I think Mancy should be in the title too.
I think so.
Yeah,
He's
maybe
more of a
Instead
replace.
of
character than-
Korbal Broach.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The Tales of Emancipor Reach and Bauchelain.
Yeah.
Korbal, Broach, and the other two.
What?
Mm.
Yeah, that'd be a much better title. Whatever. Let's stop there. Thanks for listening. Join us on Discord. Thanks, Legendarium people. Music is by Galactic Damages by Jiggle Punks. Am I missing anything? No? Okay,
Nope.
let's say goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Little tangent, because Panda reminded me of this with her D&D talk. You can cut this out if you want to, but I got my friend who I moved from Florida up here, so they're only 2 hours away. So we drive out there and we play D&D with them. I got her reading Malazan,
Mhm.
and her favorite novels are the Culture series.
Oh,
So
okay.
when I was like telling her husband about Malazan, he was like, "Kat, have you ever heard of this series, Malazan? It sounds like you would love it." And she like cringed and she was like, "I've heard it's just this grimdark stuff." And I'm like, "Absolutely not." And like,
Oh.
I was like, "That's what I thought too. Here's why it's not." And I pitched it to her, and she's like, "You are like the 10th person to try to get me to read this, and you're the only one who has succeeded." And she she's
Ooh.
read Gardens in like a month, and she's like obsessed. And
Nice.
Ooh.
yeah, and then she
Good job.
didn't watch any of the. I sent her like an AP Canavan video. I sent her a video of me talking about it. I was like, "Yeah, we do this podcast." She didn't follow any of that. Just jumped straight in. No intro, no pitch besides my own pitch, and she's was super into it. And I keep telling her like, the rest of the series is way better than this. So
Okay, well, wait till she gets to House of Change and see if she still likes it.
yeah, yeah. She does read a lot of stuff that makes people uncomfortable. And I've already
Okay.
warned her that the viewpoint character at the beginning of House of Chains is very not comfortable. And she
Okay.
said, "Oh, I'm intrigued."
Oh, all right then.
Good,
She
good,
reads
good.
a lot of really dark stuff. I've read a lot of stuff she's recommended since then as well.
And
So
Grimdark was a turnoff for her?
yeah, she doesn't read a lot of fantasy. It's a lot of sci-fi and a lot of
More like horror.
like literature, like
Mm.
capital L literature. So yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, there are some people who go straight to liking Karsa, which is interesting.
I don't think she will.
Yeah.
But I think she'll know he's making a point like instantly, because she's
Yeah.
already commented on like how feminist the series is just from Gardens. So I think like she
Nice.
won't, you know, I think she
Yeah.
won't take Karsa at face value and be like, "I'm done."
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
Yeah, very good.